totally representing about 100 million people who said they're going to cooperate and decide when to reopen.
Well, they can decide,
states.
but
does that undermine what you're trying to
no,
do?
not at all. Let me just tell you, very simple. I'm going to put it very simply. The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots. This is when somebody's the President of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
Your authority is total.
It's total. It's total.
You heard it from Trump himself. He thinks his power is absolute. And it was back in 2018 that he even tweeted that he could pardon himself. Now, if that's true, it could come in handy because Trump could be facing charges for various crimes once he leaves office. And there is talk on the street that Trump may step down so he can leverage a pardon from Pence or possibly even get a pardon from Biden. But if Trump were to do that, would it be lawful? Well, I've done the research and I've got the deets. I'm attorney Adrienne Lawrence, and this is Overruled. Welcome to TYT Overruled, where you get to be the judge. Your case for today concerns pardon power. Here are the 3 things that you should know as it concerns whether President Trump can simply pardon himself or negotiate a pardon for himself. First, let's do a quick overview of how the pardon power works. It comes to us out of Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. Here are the highlights. The president can only pardon federal criminal offenses that are not impeachment convictions. Now that means that state offenses, civil offenses, and anything that is convicted through impeachment, it cannot be pardoned. And this is important to remember because Trump is currently under investigation for violating New York state laws, which means a pardon power couldn't help him there. Also, you want to bear in mind that there's not much law out there explaining the pardon power. Sure, there's a Constitution, but there's little case law, aka court opinions. So there's not much definite clarity on the pardon power. That actually brings me to my second point. Can Trump pardon himself? Now this one's complicated, but the quick and dirty answer is, we don't know. No president's ever tried it. A self-pardon wasn't in the Constitutional Convention, nor in the Federalist Papers. Also, SCOTUS has never discussed the issue itself. Sure, back in the day, George Mason argued a bit about it during the Virginia debates on ratifying the Constitution. I know, because I read it. But we've not really gotten close to explaining it and clarifying it until arguably 1973. So right before Nixon was about to resign, the Office of Legal Counsel issued an opinion, kind of just a memo, and it was concluding that the president couldn't self-pardon because he'd be the judge of his own case. So there is that out there, but really legal minds differ. Those who think the president can self-pardon, they argue that the Constitution would have said it if he couldn't. Also, they say that the pardon power is supposed to be plenary, meaning nobody can check it. And then also there's this thought that the founding fathers were really focused on impeachment and that would be the check on abuse of presidential power. But then there are those who are against self-pardon. And they argue that in Federalist 10, James Madison said that being your own judge creates a conflict of interest. Also, that a self-pardon would allow the president to essentially be above the law, which violates one of the biggest legal tenets. And also that a self-pardon is really on par with that sovereign immunity that a king would have, and that we know the framers to the Constitution were not down for the whole king situation. Third, can Trump negotiate a pardon? Whether it's from Pence in exchange for stepping down from the presidency, or if it's from Biden in exchange for not starting World War III, it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't seem like it'd be lawful. And I know Trump has never really cared about lawfulness, but you know what I mean. So a quid pro quo type of pardon would be problematic because it could constitute bribery. And bribery is specifically listed in Article 2 of the Constitution as being one of those impeachable offenses. So the pardon power kind of seems like it'd be limited in that regard of being a quid pro quo. And this is why President Ford made so important to make clear that Nixon was not resigning in exchange for a pardon, that there would be no quid pro quo there because it could be considered bribery, and that is problematic. But then again, none of this has been tested in the courts, so there isn't that case law out there, and we don't know how it could go. But we do know that that is what legal minds say as it concerns the pardon power. So that's it. Those are the 3 things to know about how Trump and the pardon power work. So what do you think? Do you think Trump can self-pardon? Do you think he will try to self-pardon? Also, would anybody try to intervene, or would they just say, hey, it's plenary, do you think? I don't know, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are, so feel free, comment below, hit me up on Twitter using #TYTOverruled, follow us for more, and I'll catch you later.